Hey, friends, how are you? Happy Monday. It's Monday here in the co-op. So this is Galactic Activations Live with me, the Creatrix Angela K. And today I want to talk to you about what's an activation? WTF is an activation. And what the heck is a clear channel? And what does it all have to do with each other? And how do I do it? And what is it about? And all of the things. So today, that's what we're talking about. So this literally defining these things and explaining them is literally an activation in and of itself. And I will come back to that at the end to explain why. But first we have to define the things and talk about them and give examples and talk about all the different ways in this community that you can receive activations. You can become a clear channel, all of the different amazing contributors here in the co-op who help you do these things. Provocative. Hello, Michelle. Yes, provocative. I like being provocative. That's like in my code. So hello. Before we go any further, let me introduce myself. And while I'm doing that, say hello to me like Michelle did. Let me know that you're here, right? I love that. And if you have friends who are here in the co-op, make sure you tell them about this live, because they might be seeing words like activation, and they might be seeing words like clear channel or channeling, and they might be like, something about this feels good, it resonates, but I don't understand what it is. And so sometimes getting that clarity can really help them. So be a good friend and tell your friends that we're having this conversation. Hey T, how are you? So like I said, my name is Angela K. I go by the Creatrix Online, the intuitive Creatrix Online, and I am passionate about the fact that I'm a channel. So I am a medium. I started channeling spirits who had passed. I like saying I talk to dead people, but like Michelle said, it's provocative. I started channeling spirits when I was 5, and I started realizing and bringing through information from other channels, and we'll talk about what that means later today, when I was 9. So I've been doing this for a very, very long time, and I've been doing it for lifetimes. So that's a little bit about me. I like this show, Galactic Activations. Last week I talked to you about why I chose the word galactic, and this week we're talking about activations, and I'm literally giving an activation. Well, I'm talking about it. Well, I'm not giving it. I'm providing a choice, and we're going to talk about that too. A lot of us say we're giving activations, but really activations are self-installed. So did you tell your people that we're having this conversation? I'm going to make sure to tell my people that we're having this conversation, so no one is disappointed in me that I didn't tell them. All right, so first of all, what's an activation? We all have self-installed, and we all have society-installed programming. You have programming running through you. So I was trained as a sociologist at the university, and I understand that when I say programming, it means socialization. So we're all socialized. So programming to you might be like, I'm not a computer. But if I say we all have socialization, it might register differently. It might feel a little less like, kind of scratchy to you. So you're socialized. Am I right? Raise your hand if you understand that you're socialized. You were raised in a family. You maybe have children and you've seen your children learn how to do things. You understand that we learn how to be humans throughout time by interacting with our family, by interacting with society, by interacting with schools and churches and friends and all of the things. This is why when we're teenagers, we start to question things, right? Because we meet other people who have other social programming or other socialization, and sometimes it doesn't always match up. And this is why when we're in college, right, and we're exposed to all of these different ideas, or maybe you didn't go to college and you're on the world, but whatever that is, we question even more social programming or socialization, right? So Jen is saying conditioning. Yes, conditioning is another word for this. But so we all have programming in us. And when someone comes in and says they're going to offer an activation, they're offering you a choice to examine your programming. They're offering you a choice to say, does this align? What if this programming doesn't align? Can we uninstall it by using things like Reiki or EFT tapping or lots of other tools? And then how do I want to expand it? What programming do I want running through me, through my system? What do I believe? What are my beliefs? So if you're in my vision program, we started with beliefs and values, right? And so understanding what our beliefs and values are allows us to understand what programming we have running and if it's working for us or not, and if we want to choose something else. So an activation literally is someone saying something that allows you to examine your own socialization, conditioning, social programming, all of those things, and allows you to say, wow, I learned something new, and does this fit or doesn't this fit? And if it doesn't fit, do I want to take something out? And notice that it's all about you. It's all about you asking the questions. It's all about you making decisions. It's all about you choosing where you're headed. What's your desire? What are your dreams? What's your vision? And looking at your programming, your values, your beliefs, and finding out if they match or not. And then, and this is the most exciting part to me, we get to drop kick it into outer space if we don't want it anymore. So if you've ever done a Reiki session with me, you know that that's one of the visuals I like using. We make these stretchy mason jars where we can stuff all the stuff that's not serving us anymore, and we just drop kick that thing, right? We unzip the ceiling, unzip the universe, kick it out, zip it back up, and it's not here. And then we get to move forward with our own programming. So activations are self-installed. You might have heard Kyla Clapper refer to this in the live videos that she did here in the co-op. By the way, if you're not following Kyla, go follow Kyla after this. But so they're self-installed. It's a self-made decision. So you are Stardust. You might have heard people say your source. Have you ever heard that? How does it resonate? Let me know. Do you believe that there's a part of you that has source energy or God or universe or whatever word resonates to you running through you? I like to say that we have stardust running in our veins. It's what feels really good to me, but different things might feel really good to you. But do you believe that? Because if you believe that, you understand that you're co-creating your reality. And when you're co-creating your reality, you have activations given to you all the time. From media and friends and family and people like Kyla and Jen and I and others. And you get to co-create and choose what social programming you're going to keep and what social programming you're going to get rid of. So activations, we've talked a little bit about this word today, and I want to talk to you about channeling and how these things go together. So the theme this month, you may have noticed here in the co-op, is being a clear channel, or as I like to say, becoming a clearer channel, because it's not just like, boop, I'm going to flip a switch and now I'm a clear channel. It doesn't work like that. Like there's so many different tools and so many different ways and so many different levels to kind of like clean up, clear out so that we can channel through more. So what's this word channel mean? So to channel something means to use your body as an energetic vessel to bring in information. Right? And you get to choose what you do with that information once you bring it in. Maybe you're like Pamela Lynch, right? And so you tend to really focus on the writing part of things and you deliver a lot of it through writing. Maybe you're like Kyla and you love channeling the information in programs like Cusp and Focus, or in Unit 28. Are you in Unit 28 with Kyla? Let me know that too. So being a channel is something that everyone can do. This in and of itself, me saying that is an activation to you. It's a choice for you to decide, do you believe that? Do you already believe it? Are you questioning it? Everyone has the ability to channel information. So the old power structure set up a belief system that told us that only special people or certain people could channel information. And there's a reason for this. We can't have, based on that power structure, everybody walking around thinking that they can connect to source and they're part of source and all the things and they can deliver through information, because wow, that would be a lot of power in individual people's hands. And our current social structure, power structure, paradigm in society says that might be dangerous. Because if you have the power to channel and I have the power to channel, then we don't necessarily have to look to other people or other systems, etc., to tell us what we believe or how to operate or all of the things. And this, my friends, is a little teaser as to what Age of Aquarius is all about. That's for a different day. But Age of Aquarius is all about us getting to decide these things and shaking up and moving out some of the power structures and accepting the fact that you and I and other people can channel. And it doesn't make us more special or less special. It's something we all have, and it's something we all get to decide. So if there's anybody watching this that's like, I don't want to channel, that sounds terrifying, you don't have to. It's a choice. But being a clearer channel, the theme of this group, the co-op, is about enabling you to understand that there's different tools, different ways that you can go about becoming a clearer channel so you can begin to do these things. So sometimes people are like, but I don't want to like go on camera and just like deliver information. So I want to give you a different example. I want to talk to you about using cards, tarot cards, oracle cards, divination tools in general. This is a way of channeling information. So you see people step into this in different ways. You see people step into their ability, their power, right, in different ways. And you see them also limit themselves, right? They accept a program that has a limitation on it. They choose that. And you can choose not to do that. So let's start with reading cards, but reading from the book. Now I want to be clear, I'm not judging, but I'm talking about how there's different levels of a clear channel and there's different ways to use divination tools, oracle cards, runes, tarot cards, pendulums, tea leaves, like all of the things. That was a short list, by the way. So some people read the card, they memorize the definition, or they read from the book. You're still channeling because you're still tapping into someone else's energy. You're still establishing that relationship between you and the universe or source or whoever you believe that you're communicating with, and between yourself and the person receiving, or between yourself and you if you're reading for yourself. You're still establishing that relationship and you're still bringing information through. So you're channeling with a cap because you're going simply based off the definitions of the book. Now, some people take things like Jen's tarot program in Heal membership. Jen is amazing in the fact that she teaches you the definitions of the cards, but she holds space and she demonstrates often how to use an intuitive reading of tarot cards, oracle cards, etc. So Jen blends these things together, right? And so this is a different way of further advancement into channeling using divination tools. And as you become a clearer channel, that's easier for you to do with more comfort, right? And so we don't have to read the book. Some people intuitively listen and they're channeling through information. But some people intuitively listen, channel through information, but still use the definitions. And then there are people who use cards in the way that I do. So you don't often see me use tarot cards, and it's because I understand that for me, for Angela, it doesn't align, because there are these really sort of like, I find them strict definitions. And while Jen teaches that we don't always have to use them, I like to just not have to deal with it at all. And I use oracle cards instead because I've been channeling for a while, decades, right? I bring through the information, and the only reason that I use cards is to ground myself, because I, as a person, and I talked about this at the beginning of the live, have a channel where I can channel through information from people who have passed, transitioned, etc. But I can also channel through from other places, other things, from you in other places in different times, right? And so because I can channel from so many different places, using cards when I'm in a large group of people helps me anchor my energy so that I know I'm pulling through from a certain place, and it requires less of my energy. So Reiki is another example of channeling. When you're channeling Reiki, you're channeling healing energy from source and you're sending it somewhere. The difference between what I do outside of Reiki and what I do or other people do with Reiki is Reiki doesn't deplete your own energy source. But channeling in other ways can deplete your energy source. It's another reason that I use cards in that way. So I don't use the book. I don't use the definitions. I channel what naturally comes through. So if you've ever seen on Tuesdays on my profile that I do an oracle card reading free for everyone, right? That's how I channel those messages. I don't use the book. Like, I just open up and receive the information. That's a really basic sort of definition. And starting tomorrow, I'll start putting them here in the co-op. So you'll see this tomorrow night, because the second and fourth Tuesday of every week here in 2021 in the co-op, I will be doing channeling lives where I'll come in with my cards. I will sometimes not tell you exactly what channel I'm using. I'll tell you if I'm doing mediumship that night or not, and then you get to ask questions and I'll channel answers. But you'll never see me read from a book, and you'll notice that it just kind of comes to me, right? Because I'm tapped in. So being a clear channel is about getting rid of things that block our channel. So clearing out our chakras, running Reiki, being super hydrated, eating high vibrational foods, doing other things, EFT tapping, etc., to remove things that are kind of clogging up our system, right? So, and then beyond me, there are people who channel in general. Kyla channels all the time, right? In her different programs in Unit 28, in Focus, in Cusp. By the way, Cusp is coming out. Do you know about Cusp? Have you heard her talk about it? She channels in here for you, and you often see her not use cards, right? And Kyla's been channeling since she was, before she was 9, right? So she's been channeling a really long time too. So there's different ways that we can channel. And there's lots of other ways that people channel also. This is just an example to show you kind of the progression so that when you do the work to become a clearer channel, the fact that, and the more that you work with it, and the more that you understand it, and the more that you practice, the easier it becomes. And the easier that it becomes to trust yourself, trust what's channeling through. Some people call that intuition. Trust what is channeling through. I would say intuition is you channeling your higher self. That's probably going to strike some people the wrong way, and that's okay. Consider it another activation for you to choose from. Okay, so we've talked about a lot of these different things. So how is it, listening to me talk about activations and channeling and becoming a clearer channel today, how is it that you can learn to do more of these things? Where are you going? So first of all, you're here in the co-op. This is a perfect place to be. There's lots of us, Jen, myself, Kyla, others, Pamela Lynch, who channel in, for those are the first ones that come to mind, who channel in here. There are a ton of Reiki practitioners who are channeling Reiki in here, or who are at least attuned to channel Reiki, right? And so they're probably channeling other information too, whether they realize it or not. So there's lots of channeling going on simply by being in the co-op, simply by exposing yourself and tuning into lives like this, like Kyla's, like Jen's, like Rika's, like Whitney's and Deanna's, like all of the lives, right? There's lots of channeling going on. So you're literally exposing yourself to a different vibration and different ideas. So that's awesome. If you want to take it up a notch, you could go into a community like Kyla Clapper's Unit 28, where she channels information and offers tons of activations to really allow you to examine your own social programming that I talked about earlier in here, and allow you to choose to self-install those activations. I lost my word for a second. You could also go into something like the Heal membership with Jen, where she does tarot. She offers conscious conversations, first of all, and lots of channeling happen among lots of people in there. It's not the point in it, but it just happens because of who comes. And she also does tarot, right? She teaches a little bit. She does some tarot workshops. There are some recordings of tarot workshops in there. So you could also go into the Heal membership. You could also go into something like Cusp, which is Kyla's program that's coming out soon. And I'm not going to try to explain to you what Cusp is because Kyla does a much better job at that. But so simply make sure your notifications are on for Kyla Clapper and learn about what Cusp is. And when she drops Focus, learn about what Focus is, because channeling isn't just about our life. We can also channel as a business owner and about other people's businesses. And Kyla Clapper is an expert at that. You can also choose things like Embody Reiki. So I'm going to talk about Embody Reiki here for a second. I went through Embody Reiki. I channeled before Embody Reiki, but quantum leaps happen when you go through a program like Jen Kohler's Embody Reiki program. So I'm going to be really blunt with you all. I don't mean to dismiss the work that Reiki practitioners who have learned on a weekend do, but what I will tell you is that you will go faster, further, and potentially farther by doing Embody Reiki. It is an acceleration. The access that you get to Jen, because Jen's also a medium, she's talked about this, she has psychic abilities, which is channeling. She channels other things also. Like, you have access to Jen in different ways. So you don't just get access to, oh, you're attuned to Reiki and here are the symbols to use. You also get all of that. Hi, Jen. You also get all of the, she offers business things if you're interested in using it in business. And so it's unlike any other program. I can tell you that as someone who's been channeling since I was 5, like, I waited for someone like Jen to teach a program like Embody Reiki, right? And I knew I wanted to do Reiki, but I waited for Jen because my soul, my intuition understood that there was someone like her who was going to enable me to take huge quantum leaps in my abilities, right? And like I said earlier in this live, you all have the ability to take those leaps. You all have the ability to tap into gifts that you have: intuition, channeling, you can call them clairsenses, you whatever word resonates with you. You have the ability. But so one of the possible paths you can do is embody Reiki with Jen. You could also go into something like Vision with me. Vision is what I'm offering this month and next month. It is a short, condensed, intensive program that sets you up to understand which of these activations do feel good and how do you choose them, etc. And we do that by reverse engineering all the way back to the beginning by investigating what your programming is. Beliefs, values, dreams, desires. Where did you get them from? Are they actually yours? Because most of us walk around with dreams and desires and beliefs and all these things that like we learned through socialization and they're not actually ours. And so part of the beginning of that program is all about like cleaning house, figuring out what is yours, what you want yours to be, and then developing a vision, reverse engineering it, and then mapping it out with goals and intentions and giving you the tools to actually actualize that vision in real life. But we have to clean house first, so that you can have the vision, have the desires that actually aligns with who the heck you are. Otherwise, you're living someone else's dreams and desires. And I don't know about you, but that doesn't sound like fun to me. So there are so many different paths. You can work with Whitney, right? Who does tapping in here and offers amazing tapping programs. Tapping is a beautiful way to say, wow, I have this social programming and I don't want it anymore. And so I'm going to reorganize it through my system. I might be releasing it out. It's a great way to take old programming out of us, old socialization out of us, and bring in exactly what we're choosing. So to be like, I learned of something, right? There was this activation that Kyla or Jen or Angela or whoever did, and I learned it. And now, Whitney, can you please help me get rid of the junk and really kind of bring this into alignment in my own energetic system? Right? So there are so many different ways that you can do this work. I told you at the beginning of this that simply talking about these things were going to be activations. And I told you at the end of this live, I would talk to you about how that is. So some of the things that I said to you today are the fact that everyone can channel. And for some people, that's like, whoo, wow, I can do what? I talked to you about why society, our power structure, has taught us that people can't channel, and some of the screwed up things about channeling and some of the rules that don't actually exist about channeling. And we'll go more into that later. All of that was an activation. All of that was me dropping little truths for you that you get to choose to believe or you get to choose not to believe. And I don't have attachment to which one you choose. I'm simply here to help people who are ready take the next steps and move out some of that old social programming and bring in new social programming. I talked to you about what activations are. I talked to you about the fact, and Kyla talked to you about this last week also, that activations are self-installed. Activations are a conscious, intentional choice that you do yourself. That in and of itself is also an activation, because a lot of people have a misperception that activations are something that are given to us, and they're not. I talked to you about cards, tarot cards, oracle cards, etc. That is also an activation that I gave you. I told you truths about different ways that you can do it. And I'm inviting you, and simply by saying it, I invited you, whether you realized it was an invitation or not, to decide how you want to do it. What's your goal? What's your vision? What do you actually believe? Do you believe that you can channel? I talked to you about all those things. I talked to you and activated you on a number of different programs that you can say, is that for me? Is that not for me? So that's just a few of the ways that you received an activation from me today and may not have even realized it. With that, I'm popping off of here. That was a lot of information for you. I love you all. I will see you tomorrow evening here in the co-op at 8 Eastern, 7 Central, and 5 Pacific for live channeling from me, anchoring myself with oracle cards. With that, hugs and kisses, everyone. Stay wild, Moonchild. Bye.